Listening Library presents Teen Beach Movie, adapted by Sarah Nathan, read for you by Andrew Eiden.
Chapter 1. The sun shone brightly on a California beach on a perfect surfing day. The conditions were just right for catching waves. A group of surfers was carving up breakers on their boards. Brady, a blonde surfer, was right in the middle of the action. His girlfriend, Mackenzie, Mack to her friends, came up behind him. Brady smiled at her as they both expertly rode a wave in. Mack broke away from Brady and cut sharply down the face of the wave. She crouched down and grabbed the edge of the board with her hand as the wave folded over her. Inside the wave, she felt the thrill of taking command of her board. As she shot out of the water barrel, she sped past Brady. Mack loved surfing and teasing her boyfriend. She glanced over her shoulder at him and waved. He took the challenge and followed her lead. After a few hours of surfing, a stunning sunset spread out across the sky. Brady and Mack walked along the water's edge together, carrying their surfboards. Brady looked over at Mack and grinned. "Best day ever," he exclaimed. "It was pretty awesome, huh?" Mack replied. "Awesome?" he replied. "Surfing all day? Us being together? Awesome wishes it was this awesome." He stopped and looked into Mack's eyes. "This has been the perfect summer." Mack looked around, taking in the beautiful beach sunset. "It has been perfect," she said. Then she looked down. The tide was going out, and her feet were slowly sinking into the wet sand. "It's just, the thing is, Brady..." She stopped herself. She had something to tell him, but she couldn't get the words out. When she glanced back at Brady, he was looking at the horizon. "Hey, check it out!" he shouted. Following his gaze, Max spotted the huge wave traveling toward the shore. "Those swells must be breaking at, 40 feet? She asked, squinting. "I read there's a gnarly storm coming in from up north," Brady replied, keeping his eyes on the ocean. "Same time as the trade winds are hitting." "Surf like this happens once every 10 years, Mack exclaimed. "Imagine dropping into a barrel that intense." Brady flashed her a smile. "Luckily, we've still got a whole week left of vacation to enjoy it." Mack took a deep breath. What she had wanted to tell him would ruin this sunset and this moment, and the promise of a great surfing day tomorrow made the night even sweeter. She decided to change the subject. "Come on, I'm starving," she said. Together they took off for the beach surf shop up ahead. The shop belonged to Mack's grandfather and was where he crafted custom-built surfboards. "First thing tomorrow, we hit the beach and that awesome surf," Brady said. "Imagine what you'll do on waves that heavy. Carving, kickflips, laybacks." "Brady, about tomorrow," Mack began as she walked into the surf shop. "No way!" Brady cried, pushing past her. On the television was an old 1960s surf movie. The surfer on screen was doing amazing trick handstands on his surfboard. "I can't believe you're watching this without me," Brady complained to Mack's grandfather. "Now that you're here, I'm not," the older man replied. He winked at his granddaughter. Mack watched as a girl came out of the water with her hair still perfectly coiffed and completely dry. Rolling her eyes, Mack sighed. Even the water was fake in these old beach movies. "Please tell me it isn't Wet Side Story," Brady and Mack's grandfather answered in unison. 1962, surfers, bikers, best movie ever made, Brady declared. His eyes were glued to the screen. "How can you two like that silliness?" she asked, looking from Brady to her grandfather. "Especially you, Grandpa." Mack gave him a stern look. "Silliness?" her grandfather asked. He shook his head. "Mack, my dear, this movie defined an entire culture." "Exactly," Brady jumped in. A surfer guy and a biker girl share a secret love while trying to unite their rival gangs as an evil real estate mogul tries to turn their hangout into a resort by building a weather machine that blows up, creating a massive storm. He raised his eyebrows high. Silliness? Really? The boy makes a good point, Mack's grandfather said. Fine, but can you watch it later? I really need to talk to you, Mack said, pulling on Brady's elbow. Brady's eyes were still fixed on the television. On screen, a group of surfers ran into Big Mama's bungalow. It was a beach hangout decorated with surfboards and shells. There were surfers sitting on one side of the restaurant and bikers on the other side. Just check out my favorite part, Brady urged. When the two leads, Lela's and Tanner's eyes meet, they're pulled apart by their two conflicting rival gangs. Brady pointed to the TV. Look! Mack watched Lela, a biker chick, and Tanner, a surfer, sing a song about falling in love. Lela was singing on stage until she teetered too close to the edge and fell. She tumbled right into Tanner's arms. Hey, get your soggy surfer mitts off my baby sister, one of the biker dudes shouted toward the group of surfers. As the surfers and bikers circled each other, Lela and Tanner locked eyes. Mack crossed her arms over her chest and rolled her eyes again. I love this part, Mack's grandfather confessed. It's classic, Brady agreed. Come on, Mack said, exasperated. They sing for no reason. When they come out of the water, their hair is totally dry. The girls never surf as well as the boys. And they sing for no reason. I mention that again because even the second time, I don't get why. Brady glanced over at Mack. But it is always summer, and everybody just dances and surfs. Mack shrugged. Well, sure, the surfing part sounds fun. Just then there was a knock at the front door. When Mack went to see who was there, her grandfather had a worried look on his face. He grabbed the remote and turned off the TV. But come on, they sing in the ocean and never spit out water, Mack called over her shoulder. She opened the door and then froze. Standing in the doorway was Mack's Aunt Antoinette, a businesswoman who definitely didn't look like she fit into the laid-back surfing scene. How about giving your Aunt Antoinette a hug? She asked, smiling. Mack grinned and threw her arms around her aunt. You're so grown up, Antoinette cooed. She stood back and looked at her niece in her bikini. You look absolutely unacceptable. Excuse me? Max said, offended. Not you, dear, Antoinette said quickly. She pointed to her earpiece and continued on with her business call. Tell him the offer is unacceptable. She clicked the phone off and turned to Mack. It's good to see you, she sang sweetly. What are you doing here? Mack asked. I thought you were coming tomorrow. Antoinette shook her head. Then you thought wrong. We're leaving tomorrow. Brady walked toward the door. Mack, what does she mean by leaving tomorrow? Brady, I'm Mackenzie's aunt, Antoinette said, extending her hand. I'm sure she's told you all about me. Brady turned to Mack. What does she mean by leaving tomorrow? He repeated. Welcome home, Antoinette, Mack's grandfather said, walking toward her. Hello, Father, Antoinette replied. Glad to have you home, he said kindly. Antoinette looked past her father into the shop. Doesn't look like much has changed around here. I see you're still making surfboards. The best surfboards on the beach, Mack boasted. You know, I could get you a great price on this place, Antoinette said, gesturing to the prime beach location. Of course, we'd have to tear it down first. She scanned the old shop, and her eyes settled on a vintage surfboard hanging over the entryway. Don't tell me you still have that. Still have it? Mack asked incredulously. She looked up lovingly at the old surfboard with the carved rose emblem. We all grew up on the mythical legends of this board. This board is part of the family. Me, your grandfather, his father, we each found our destiny on it, her grandfather said. "There's only one way to find your destiny in this world," Antoinette snorted. "And that's
Sample complete. Ready to continue?